Christians like to say that hell is made of fire and suffering and eternal darkness. I think hell is government paperwork. I think when we all die and we all get sent to hell because apparently that's what happens to us if we don't do the right things. I think we just sit in a small room at a very uncomfortable table in a very uncomfortable chair, and we just have a stack of government paperwork to do and a pen that keeps running out of ink. That's what I think hell is. Guess what I've been doing lately? I've, God, I hate, I hate. The great news is, for people who didn't see the video where I mentioned it, I might have an apartment. Fingers crossed, I might have an apartment. Again, for those who don't know, I'm on SSI disability. And, there are a number of things, a number of resources and accommodations for people who are on disability in our country. And one of them is subsidized housing that doesn't cost as much as other normal housing because we make almost no money and would not be afford to live on our own otherwise. So I've been struggling for a long time because I've been on the housing list. Well, okay, this is what I wonder, because I first signed up for like basically what they do is there's for housing specifically, there's depending on where you live, depending on what area you're in, what county you're in, all that shit. There's like a website where you can go like put in all your information, and you go on to this list with other people who need the same resource, and some person, some department, something goes down the list and offers the places that are available. So it can take a long time to go from signing up for the list to actually getting contacted for something. And I swore I signed up for this shit like years ago, but then I never got like anything, and it was like years ago. I've been on disability since 2017, I believe. I think that's when. And I remember signing up for something, and now I'm like, what did I sign up for? Because never got a call. And so I did it again in the beginning of 2024. Oh no, am I gonna burp? Nope, false alarm. Okay. So at the beginning of 2024, I tried again, and I signed up for, all the housing stuff that was available to me, all the options that were available to me. And I was getting calls for a while for like, it's like, oh, here's a place, and like you need to be making, like rent is like $800, and I'm like, I don't even make $800, so that's a problem. And I thought that was all that was going to be available. I was really bummed out. And then, a couple weeks ago, I got a call, and they're like, yeah, we have an apartment. And it's like, it's new, like newly built, which is really nice, because sometimes the problem with these places can be that they are not maintained very well. It's specifically like the government, like, hey, you can't afford a place, so we're gonna kind of give you one for only like 30% of your income as rent and utilities and shit. So yeah, they called me and they're like, yeah, we have a place. And I'm like, really? And it's like just built, like, and I went to go check it out. I had a friend of mine take me to go look at the place. And it's like, I'm like, this is kind of nice. Like, it's very small. It's a very small apartment. But I don't mind small. Like, small does not bother me. Nobody's lived in it before, so it's like, in really good condition, obviously, and like, I don't know. And then so I've been like, I don't know. I'm scared. I'm scared. Like, I don't know. I've never done this process before. I've never like gone through all the paperwork. And there's more paperwork and different paperwork for going this route than for, you know, just getting an apartment the normal way. So like, yeah, I'm like, yeah, this is great. What do I do now? So she handed me like this like huge stack of paperwork that I took home, and then I panicked about it for like a week. And I'm like, I've got so much paperwork to do. But I completed it yesterday to the best of my ability, and like was just panicking the whole time. Because it's like, the thing with paperwork, and especially government paperwork, is it's like, it all has all this scary language that it's like, if you fuck up, you're like, you're dead. We're gonna put you in jail. We're gonna throw you in prison because you wrote the wrong thing in the wrong box. And I know that language is used because it's like, they're trying to avoid people like fraud, right? Like they're trying to avoid somebody taking advantage of the system, which I hate that concept that people are that obsessed with. Like, people are so much more obsessed with like, somebody's going to take advantage of the system, and it's like, well, what about the people who are struggling to use the system as it's intended? What about the people who are like, I want to earnestly and genuinely use this system to survive because I have no other options, because I'm disabled and I can't work and I'm sick and I can't hold a job. I can't do the normal shit that people would do. And, you know, it's like, it makes it so much harder for us to just use the system when the percentage of people who are actually committing fraud and getting away with it is so small. And it's just like, shouldn't you be more concerned about the majority, you know, the 99% who are trying to use the system and struggle to use the system sometimes? Like, I don't know. I digress. So yeah, it's just a bunch of paperwork, and I'm just like, I'm panicking the whole time because I'm like, you know, because I don't know how stringent this process is. I don't know how, you know, I'm sure there's some mistakes that it's simply like, well, you need to fill this out again because you didn't do it right, you know, like there's probably some mistakes that are like that, but I never know the difference between a mistake that's like a passable mistake, you know, a mistake that's like, all right, we can fix this, and versus a mistake that's like, oh, you've lost the apartment now and you can't have the apartment and it goes to the next person or whatever. Because that's what happens is if you don't take the place, you go back to the bottom of the list. And you know, when I filled out all this stuff, it was either like the end of 2023. No, it had to be the beginning of 2024. It was like in January, I'm sure, of 2024, and it is now May 2025. So that is how long it took to go on the list and then get a call and an offer. So if I don't take the place and if it doesn't work, I go to the bottom of the list again. And I'm panicking because, God, I want an apartment. God, I want to, you know, get out of here, I guess. I don't know. The one thing I'm worried about hitting a snag with is my dog, Jasper. Because technically pets aren't allowed on the unit, but Jasper is, you know, a lot of the reason that I got him is for mental health reasons. I struggle a lot with like, you know, panic attacks, general severe anxiety issues, always worried about shit. I'm always stressed about shit. And unfortunately, my stress threshold is absurdly low. And, you know, I can escalate into, you know, like feeling like I'm gonna die, everything's over, everything's awful, everything will always be awful, and just like, you know, panic and you know, having Jasper around, being able to pet him, is very soothing and calming, and is like honestly one of the quickest ways for me to calm down. The two ways for me to calm down the fastest is either to sing or to pet my dog. So, my therapist is gonna fill out some paperwork / write her a letter, I'm not sure, to basically say that, like, I would significantly benefit from having Jasper with me, to allow him on the unit. The only thing is, that paperwork has to get sent off to someone else to make that determination. The property manager doesn't even make that determination. It's someone else in another office who also has to look at all my other fucking paperwork. And my therapist seems to think that there's not going to be a problem. And I should probably believe her. That would be probably both the less stressful way and probably, like, she probably knows what she's talking about. But my confidence in the system and the people who are making determinations about my life, my confidence has dwindled a lot. I don't know. I mean, I feel like I don't know. I don't know how to phrase this. I don't know if I can say this. I feel like I have trust issues in general, and that's on me. That's something I have to work on. And also, these systems are not always... It feels like these systems are not always built to our benefit, to be completely frank. I have a lot of thoughts and feelings about what it's like to have to work within the system of disability and that kind of thing. It's, I don't know, it's, every single person in the world is deserving of empathy and compassion and, respect. That is something that is just owed to every single human being who is born into this world. Even if you're a person who has made horrific, awful choices, you are still deserving of compassion, empathy, and respect, even if you have to face the consequences of your actions, or if respect doesn't always mean your opinions are respected. I'm thinking about the people who specifically think that people like me shouldn't exist. A trans, disabled, chronically ill, mentally ill queer man. There's a lot of people who believe I shouldn't exist, and there are people who are in power over our country right now who believe I shouldn't exist, and who believe I don't exist. Actually, that my specific combination of issues doesn't exist. Paperwork does not plan for someone to fill all the boxes, that I still believe that as human beings, those people are deserving of a type of respect, because, if one person's not deserving respect, no one is. Either we all are or no one is. But respect in that case does not always mean that you are listened to or that you should be in a position of power. And that is my opinion on that for now. But yeah, it's... I've been on disability since 2017, but I've also been, I've been disabled my entire life, to varying degrees and in different ways. Like because I was born with a vision issue. I was born with nystagmus, makes my eyes go bleh, and that impacted my vision and my ability to function at like school. And, something that we always had to do, like every year before I started school, we would have to go to my teacher, and we would have to talk to them and be like, hey, I can't see shit. I need you to print the homework in large print. I need to be seated at the front of the class, closest to the board. In some cases, it was like, even the front seat is not close enough for me to see what you're doing on the board. I need to sit on the ground, even closer. There was I always had to ask for accommodations. I had to start out the year when I was a kid, just meeting with my teachers and saying, hey, I need help. And, teachers responded in varying degrees of compassion, I'd say. I was always shocked when I actually got a teacher who would actually print out the homework in large print. So I had to learn to manage with normal print. Because that's the thing. That's the thing is if you don't get your accommodations, you have to fucking survive anyway. And then eventually there are some assholes who will be like, oh, you can survive without this accommodation. You don't need this accommodation. That's not how that works. I have to survive in the world whether I get accommodations or not. I have to live whether I'm given what I need or not, which means I have and will stretch myself beyond the point of what I can reasonably tolerate. The kid who is sitting in class who can see everything perfectly and can read their homework perfectly isn't spending that much energy to do so. While I have the same, if I'm given the same paper and I'm given the same, same things they are, I can do it. I can make myself do it. I can push myself. I can, strain my eyes to hell. But I'm using up so much more energy to do the same thing that they're doing. And people from the outside will look at that and say, well, if you can do it, you don't need the accommodation. It's not how that works. The accommodation is to put us at the same level as someone who isn't struggling. The accommodations are meant to be there so that we're on the same playing field, more or less. And you can never, that's why it's, equity versus equality. That was kind of, that was what I was dealing with when I was a kid. And then when I, around teenage years, I started having physical health issues. Well, I had physical health issues earlier. I started getting migraines, really, really bad migraines, when I was in elementary school. And they were horrific migraines. Like, I'd be throwing up. I have memories of just planting myself in the couch, face first in the corner, just pressing my face into it, trying to relieve the pain. Just this 7-8-year-old kid, face in the corner of the couch, ass in the air, just oh, make it stop. And I got sick a lot, had to stay home from school a lot. I never got the perfect attendance thing that kids get, but whatever. I care about that now. Yeah, I'm still upset about not getting perfect attendance, the little perfect attendance certificate that you get if you do that. Still mad about that. But yeah, so it's I had migraines around then and would have to stay home from school a lot. And then when I hit my teenage years, I started having other issues. There was this one time when I went to the hospital for 3 days, because, sorry if you're a bit squeamish, but, I was shitting myself to death. I, was having these, was not keeping anything in my system, and they kept me there for 3 days, and they were at first they were you have cancer, and I'm oh no, and then it was bullshit. They were you have cancer, we have to operate now, and then they had me marked up and everything, they had the fucking hospital Sharpie on me, they put me under, had me set for surgery, and then when I woke up, they were oh, we were wrong. We didn't actually cut you open. We didn't have to do surgery. We were, sorry. You don't have cancer, actually. It's okay, cool. I'm 13. I'm 13. I have a catheter up my fucking urethra. I haven't eaten for a few days, and I'm very, very sick. So I guess I'll just go with this. I was diagnosed with ulcerative colitis at the time, which I kept that diagnosis for years, and I had multiple colonoscopies after that, multiple different doctors all said I had ulcerative colitis. They said I had an unusual form of it. Apparently, they said it was like atypical somehow. I'm not sure how. I'm not a doctor, so I don't know how. But that was the diagnosis for years. And then when I was an adult, I saw a different doctor, got another, scan up the butt, and they were like, "Oh, you don't have that anymore," which is like, that's not how that works. I don't know. That's a whole other thing. I don't know why I went on that rant, tangent, whatever. But like, I started having physical health issues when I was like 12, 13 and needed accommodations like, because like at our school, I don't know why schools do this. If your school has done this, I'm so sorry. But our school was like, you're only allowed to go to the bathroom in between classes. You're not allowed to go to the bathroom like during class. Even if you ask to go, you can't. Some classes had a thing where like one time this year you can ask to go to the bathroom, and it's like, yeah, that's how that works. You only have to go to the bathroom once a year. But we weren't allowed to go to the bathroom at school. They were like, you have to go in between class. The 2 minutes you have, literally 2 minutes to get from one end of the building to the other, that's your bathroom time. And also, if you're late for class, you will get in trouble. If you are not in your seat by the time the bell rings, you will get in trouble. So I had the accommodation of, yeah, I'm allowed to go to the bathroom. Which fucking, like, I don't know why they're running their fucking middle schools like prisons, but here we are. So, and then now as an adult, well, and then in high school, I mentioned I went to a school that was mostly for autistic kids. One of the reasons I went there is because I had, I needed accommodations. I had disabilities. I didn't have autism, but there were kids there without autism. I might have autism. I don't know. That's another topic for another day. I'm not sure what's wrong with me. But I went to this school that was, for kids that struggled in some way or another. And that was a better experience because that school, it was my high school years. They were used to dealing with kids who needed accommodations. So a lot more things were respected. Things were printed out in large print quite more frequently. And I had friends who were very understanding. If my friends and I were going out to do something, we had this thing where one friend would always wear a bright color. Like if we were going out somewhere in public to hang out, someone would wear a bright color so that I didn't get lost. Because my vision is so great. I can see so well. And I never get lost, ever. Never. So I kind of lost the train of what I was saying. I'm just talking. That's what I'm doing. Accommodations, disability. Oh, yeah. I don't know. I feel like the system of SSI and the system of disability, and to be fair, SSI is just meant to be like financial, right? Like it's specifically SSI is meant to be like, this is your money. But this is your money because you can't work. But I also feel like the resources available to us are not enough. The accommodations are not enough. I feel like I got this paperwork and it was stressing me out. I'm not great at paperwork. It confuses me, and it is confusing. I don't think anybody's good at paperwork. I think the number of people who are good at paperwork are probably the people who like work in that system, in the government system. Those are the only people who actually understand it and and are good at it. And it's, it causes a lot of anxiety, and I don't understand the questions, and and it's like there's no one to ask, and I have a case manager, and I called my case manager to be like, hey, I need help with my paperwork. And the past 2 times I've tried to call my case manager, I've gotten no response. And I called them this week to be like, hey, I need help with this paperwork. And her voicemail wasn't taking voicemails and it said she was on extended leave. And I'm like, great, cool. I haven't heard from you in months. What's happening? You're supposed to be my case manager. You're supposed to help me, like, do this stuff. She just wasn't available. So, like, I ended up asking my dad for help, and thankfully he was able to help a little bit. But even some of it still is like, what's this? I don't know. I'm pretty sure I still filled some shit out wrong. Like, I'm positive there's some shit I did not fill out right, and we'll just have to hope that it's not a world-ending catastrophe, right? God, I'm terrified. Ugh. We'll have to hope that it's not a world-ending catastrophe, and that I don't lose the apartment because of it, because that's what I'm terrified of. I'm afraid to even be like, I'm afraid to even be excited about having, or like being, I'm afraid to be excited about it because I'm so convinced that it's like, it's not going to happen. Something's going to go wrong. I'm not going to get it. Somehow the paperwork's not going to go through. Something's going to get denied, because I will not leave the house if I can't take Jasper with me. That's the big thing is like, I will not move in if I can't take Jasper with me. That's the paperwork I'm worried about most. And, but there's also other, I don't know how the system works. And nobody can explain it to me. There's nobody I can ask because, my caseworker is apparently gone. So I'm rambling and I'm not talking very cohesively, but that's fine. I'm very tired. I'm exhausted. I had multiple doctor's appointments this week, which that's another system that I feel like not built for us. I'm getting real sick of the medical system. I'm getting real fucking sick of doctors. And, it's, it's one of those things that so like I saw my dermatologist earlier this week. I have a very painful skin condition called HS. It's very painful and not good. She even said, the doctor I saw, she said HS is the worst thing we see. It's the worst thing we see here because it's so painful and it's so difficult to manage, and there's really not a cure for it. You can only manage it. And the treatments for managing it I have not responded to very well. And there's one treatment that I haven't tried, but it's an immunosuppressant, which means it reduces the function of your immune system. And my immune system already does not work very well. Just because of the stress I've been under, I have... it's actually looking better today, but this thing was acting up for a bit because it acts up when I'm stressed. I get this, like, lip thing that acts up when I'm stressed. That's why my lips are all fucking fucked up and peeling right now. And, and also HS responds to stress. You have flare-ups when it is worse. And the thing about HS is that it does deep tissue damage if it is not managed well for too long. And, you can actually need surgery because it does so much damage to your deep tissue. And I was very frustrated because I went and saw her, and I do understand why I am also hesitant to go on anything that would be an immunosuppressant. My immune system is not good. I am very sensitive to stress, and my physical body is very sensitive to stress. It does not respond well to stress. I get sick very easily from stress. I had I went to the appointment and I came home and I had a fever. I had a 100-degree fever because of stress, just the stress of going to an appointment. Well, it was like Monday, I made like a fuck ton of phone calls and did a bunch of shit. And then Tuesday, I went to see the dermatologist. And then Wednesday, I got an x-ray and had to see another doctor because I'm having some issues with my back. I have this nerve like along my shoulder blade, like at the bottom of the shoulder blade and like branches out. I've had that pain for a while. Like that nerve just kind of keeps acting up and like twinging and hurting and tingling all wrong, and it just hurts. And so it's like that plus that spot that I was talking about in another video right here that sometimes pops up in random pain was having that too, and then having pain shooting down my leg as well. So I'm like, all right, I need to go talk to you because my back fucking hurts. And they got an x-ray and it's like, we can shoot you up with steroids. It's like, great, how does that solve the problem? Doctors really like to give you steroids, which is really frustrating because steroids, they're good for like quick temporary relief. It will put the problem at bay for a little bit. It is not a long-term solution. And the only long-term solutions that anyone can give me is lose weight. That is not a solution. I'm sorry. It's just, that is not a solution for pain relief. I understand that, body style changes or lifestyle changes and changes to my body could improve certain symptoms, but also, that's losing weight is not going to fix the HS. Losing weight is not going to fix me getting fevers. It's not going to fix random like stress rashes and shit that keeps popping up on my body. It's not going to fix that shit. And I don't see why I have to be skinny for you to consider me worth treating. I don't see why, a body type that is larger is less deserving of care. Wow, my dog is upset. It's probably fine. So, like, but that's the only long-term solution anyone will give me is exercise more and lose weight. And it's frustrating because I can tell that the doctors don't see me as someone, they don't see me as someone deserving of, taking the time and effort to figure out what the root of the problem is, or trying to, find actual treatment. I am almost never given pain meds, and I use marijuana to treat my pain currently, and that's the best treatment that works for me. But doctors won't even, they almost never give me pain medicine for anything anymore. And even though I go to them and I'm in pain, it's like, man, if I didn't have, medical marijuana to use, what, you just expect me to be in pain, and that is apparently fine. It's apparently it is, that's not an issue that I'm in pain. The issue is that I haven't lost weight. And, the dermatologist even, and, she was nice enough, but, one thing that kind of upset me about the appointment is, she asked to see, all the spots that, were flaring, which required me to undress. And then she did not ask, she did not clear consent with me. And she just took pictures of all of it. And I've never had a doctor do that before, where they just take pictures of your body, and, she was just like, oh, we need this for all she said was like, we need this for our records. And she just took pictures of very sensitive parts of my body that, I did not directly consent to, and I was not directly asked if that was okay. I was not given the option to say no. And it's, it's kind of dehumanizing, right? Like, it feels like stuff like that makes me feel like, it makes me feel like, you know, the only purpose of me being there is to milk the insurance for money. That's what it feels like. Because she didn't give me answers. She took pictures of, me, and I mean, she gave me some like topical stuff to use, but the thing about HS specifically is it is a systemic problem in the body. It's not, it's deep tissue. It acts up when there's inflammation in the body. It causes inflammation in the body. It's very, very painful. It's extremely painful. It is the most painful skin condition that I know of, that that it's talked about for being one of the most painful skin conditions. And I, felt like she didn't. I don't know. And she was like, yeah, I see some lasting scarring and damage that will only be fixed by surgery. And they will, and she's like, but they don't want to do surgery unless they can like remove other parts of it. I don't know. It's like, I don't want to have surgery for it, but I don't know if I have an option because I'm not really able to manage it. And she was just like, oh, just lower your stress. I'm like, girl, I live in such a stressful environment. I live in such a stressful environment day to day, and I cannot control how stressful my environment is. I do not have a lot of control over how much stress I am under. And it is very frustrating to be told, essentially be told your pain is your fault because you're not following these lifestyle like changes. Sorry. It hurts for doctors to just like be like, well, you haven't lost weight, so clearly you don't care. How much are you exercising? And it's like, well, last week I walked for an hour and a half and have been in pain ever since, because my body likes to hold on to pain like it's fucking tar or something. Like it I'm not saying I shouldn't exercise. I think exercise is very good for me. I feel better when I exercise in the long term. But exercise for me has to look very different from somebody who has a healthy body, who can push themselves and not get a fever as a response, or not get a random infection as a response, or not have their skin flare up as a response. Exercise is very tricky for me because I do feel better when I do it, and I like being active. I do like being active. I used to play soccer all the time. I used to dance, and I miss that shit. I would play soccer if I had the opportunity right now. It's not that I don't like being active, but also, when you have other shit you got to do in life, I can't afford to be laid out in bed for 3 days, unable to do anything because I, exercise too hard. And like, when you don't have a lot of money and you don't have a lot of energy, it's hard to cook, traditionally healthy meals every day. And sometimes you wake up and you feel like you've been hit by a truck. Your body feels like a giant bruise. Your muscles just feel like sore and weak, and, your legs are shaking as you're like trying to like walk, and and then it's like, okay, now cook, a 3-course meal that, has all of the dietary nutrients that you need. That's asking a lot every day for someone who is constantly in pain and constantly sick. I'm always in some kind of pain. And I have to function through that pain. And it feels unfair to say to me that your pain is a result of you not trying hard enough. for them to look at me when I'm saying, this hurts, can you help me, this hurts, I'm in pain, it hurts. And their response is, do better. Their response is, well, are you exercising enough, are you eating right, are you doing all these things? And, are there a few more things I could be doing? Yeah, and I constantly do. I constantly am looking for areas in my life where, I can improve, because I want to manage my pain. And, I think that I think if I was able to exercise more regularly at a pace that was not detrimental to me, I think I would feel better. But I'm still struggling to even find what pace is a reasonable pace. I'm very used to exercise being all out. Like, the type of dance I was doing was ballet. Ballet requires, a lot of muscle control. It requires a lot of strength. And I was very used to working out constantly to maintain that, and to, maintain the body I needed for that type of dance. It's not like I'm a stranger to exercise. It's not like I'm a stranger to pushing myself hard for the result of feeling better and maintaining, my muscles and stuff. The issue isn't that I hate exercise. The issue is I don't understand my own body's limits anymore, because I've been sick for so long. And when I've tried to exercise, I so quickly, it's not just about being sore the next day. Like, the soreness from exercise, like, feels kind of good, right? Like, it's kind of a good sore. It's the soreness I get now, though, is different. It doesn't feel like the soreness I used to get. It doesn't feel like the soreness of, wow, I really worked that muscle really hard, and now it just kind of has that, like, it's like a good ache, It's like, it's the ache of, I worked it hard, and it's, and I can feel the results of that, and I feel more energized, and I feel, my blood flow feels better, like, you know what I mean? Like, you just feel better, even though you're sore. It's a good kind of sore. That's not what I get anymore. I get this bone deep pain. I get, like, this, like, ache that, my skin almost aches. It's like, it's not just my muscle is tired from working. It's like, I feel like I was hit by a truck. I feel like I was run over by a train. Everything feels bruised. My bones feel bruised. My nerves are, like, tingling weird and, like, spiking and just, like, shooting pain. And, the muscles don't just feel worked. They feel like it feels like someone took a grater to my muscles. Like, it's painful. It's not the good ache of, I worked hard. It's this painful ache of, like, my body just doesn't work. My body doesn't work like it used to. I'm so old. My body doesn't work like it used to. So it's frustrating, because I am a large man. I weigh a lot. I'm very heavy, and a doctor likes to look at that and be like, well, there's your problem. There's your problem. That's all of your problems. If you just worked out, you'd feel better. If you just lost weight, you'd feel better. And it feels like they ask more of me than they would ask of themselves in the same position, because I can't imagine someone being in my position and responding with, if you lost weight, if you lost weight, you'd be deserving of treatment. You'd be deserving of compassion and empathy instead of, judgment. And that's the frustrating thing with doctors right now is, I don't feel like I'm seen as a human. I don't want to cry over that. Nope. I just don't. I don't feel like they see me as a human. I feel like they see me as, I don't know what I feel like they see me as, but it's definitely not human. You know, it's definitely not a three-dimensional view of who I am, you know, and how, you know, they don't see how hard I'm trying, that even if I'm not succeeding at, you know, everything I'm being told to do, they don't see that I am putting effort in and I am trying. And they're very focused on, you know, the results. Like, if you haven't lost weight, clearly you're not trying. If you still have this skin problem, clearly you're not trying. You know, if you still have these back issues, clearly you're not trying. And what they don't see is that I have been more active the past 2 years than I have been in several years. I've been more physically active. I have been more engaged with, you know, trying to recover, trying to, you know, improve how I treat my body, trying to eat better. I have been doing really bad on the eating lately because I've been so stressed. It's like, God, I cannot think about cooking right now. I can't. Everything hurts. I can't even think about cooking right now. And that is something I want to work on, but it's, you know, there's a lot of barriers in place. I can't always make it to the grocery store. I am reliant on rides to make it to the grocery store. And unfortunately, there are some politics that I have to deal with in my personal life to get access to things like the grocery store. You know, I really, it is important to me that I'm not throwing people under the bus, and it is important to me that I'm not villainizing anyone in my life. But very recently, my access to the grocery store was under direct threat because of something that happened. There was a threat that rides would not be provided for me to go to the grocery store, and it was not over a reasonable issue. Who the fuck is texting me? There's like so many messages. Hold on. Who is... Okay. I don't think that's important. It's not important. It's cool. It's fine. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. I hate how hats don't stay in place. I know it's not a hat, it's a beanie, but whatever. Or whatever it is. It's not staying in place. My hair's a mess. But, you know, there's not enough resources for us, you know, when you're disabled, and it feels like, you know, feels like very few people in the system, you know, medical and, you know, the system of just disability and that stuff, it doesn't feel like I am seen as a three-dimensional human who has three-dimensional needs, you know? And if I'm honest, I need a lot more than is accommodated for. Sometimes I don't even know, you know, it's hard to know sometimes even what accommodations are available. You know, sometimes they say, what do you need? And I'm like, I need help. I know I need help. I know I'm not able to do this as is. I know I'm not able to do this on my own. But I don't know what kind of help you can provide. I don't know what is even available to me. And that's one of the biggest flaws in the system that I've found is just there's not clear information as to what's all available to me, what resources are available to me. Excuse me. Oh no, sorry. You know, I've been on disability since 2017. Might have been 2016. I can't remember. One of the two. And I, you know, I'm still finding out resources that I don't know. You know, it's not like someone sits down with you and gives you like this pamphlet that's like, here's all the numbers that you can call for all of the things that are available to you, and here's all the ways we can help. It's just kind of like, you're on SSI. There's stuff out there. You should be able to get rides for shit. You should be able to fucking do XYZ. And it's like, great, how, where, who do I call? And it's like, fuck if I know. Talk to your case manager. You talk to your case manager. They're like, fuck if I know, call SSA. You call SSA. They're like, fuck if I know. It's it's always someone else's issue in someone else's department, and I can never find the department that's supposed to help me. And it's it's not like there's nothing available. I have been able to access some resources. I technically have 2 case managers. I have one through my therapist's office, and then I have one through my insurance. The one at my therapist's is the one that I can't get a hold of. And I haven't seen her since last year. I don't know what's happened to her. I don't know where she is. And nobody called me either. Nobody was like, hey, we're switching you, or she doesn't work here anymore. Like, I don't even know if she still works there. Like, for all I know, she might have left. I don't know. And then I had one case manager with my insurance, and he left. And then I got put with someone else, and I'm supposed to be someone else that's like a temporary person right now. Supposed to get someone else, but haven't talked to her in a bit. I am expecting a call from her sometime soon, though. Nope, didn't have to burp. So yeah, it's there's supposed to be, and then I talked about this last time. Is there was one group that was kind of off of my insurance, and they were helpful. They could like come and like advocate for you at a doctor's appointment. They could give rides, because like my insurance directly, you can get rides because I can't drive because of my vision. So, if I go through my insurance directly, it's like you have 12 rides a year for doctor's appointments. You can get 12 round trips a year. I see the doctor far more frequently than that. Just last week I had 2 appointments. That's like, what math? That's like a 1/6 of my rides already taken. If I had taken a ride for both, I had a friend drive me for one, and then I had to use my insurance for the other one. But there's 2 gone in 1 week. It's not enough. So you only get 12 through them. But this other group that was like a branch off of my insurance, they were like, yeah, they could give like basically unlimited, as long as I could contact them, and then they're shutting down. They're not providing services anymore. They're soon going to not be a thing. And it's like, great, good, I needed that. So, fuck am I supposed to do now? There's supposed to be this one kind of ride thing that I should qualify for, but when I've called them in the past, I narrowly fall through a crack that I'm disabled, but I don't quite qualify for it. I can't remember why I don't qualify for it. I can't remember. It's been a while. Maybe I should recall again. I don't know. God. I hate phone calls. I don't want to make more phone calls. I made like 7 on Monday. I probably should call them again though at some point. But it's like, there are certain things that I fall through the cracks of, even though it's like, I can't drive. I literally can't drive. I can't get a driver's license. It's like, well, you're not quite disabled enough to fit in our parameters, so you can't use this. I don't know. There's not enough resources. There's not enough accommodations. They don't make it clear what resources there are. They don't make it clear what accommodations there are. I happen to be someone who has a decent level of intelligence and a decent level of I'm fairly well spoken for someone of my level of ability, I feel like. And I struggle to access the resources. I hate to think what, people who are in this system who struggle to communicate, struggle to understand certain things. There are many people in the disability system who struggle with mental delays that still deserve respect, empathy, and compassion. And hopefully they have a family member who is able to help them navigate these complex systems, because I'm struggling too. And like, it's very frustrating that it, most of the determinations made about our lives, our what we have access to, what kind of help we have access to, what kind of resources we have access to, what quality of life things we have access to, is all determined by someone who looks through our paperwork and, decides if we deserve to receive the accommodations we need. The people who have made most of the decisions about my life are people who have only seen me as pen marks on a sheet of paper. And that is a system that lacks empathy, in my opinion. And, people who are struggling with disability and pain and, everyone deserves empathy and compassion and respect, but we are a population that need more. We just need more. We need more because we have less, We have less functionality, we have less ability. We're struggling to occupy the same world that you do. And, in some ways, it feels like our society, not in some ways, in all ways, we are treated worse when we should be extended compassion. It's a very, it feels like a very dispassionate system. You ask for help, and if you're asking the wrong person for help, they will just, shut you down, I called the SSA the other day, and because I had to ask a question, I needed some help with something I didn't understand, and she did not want to talk to me, and it was kind of this, she just shut down anything, and I didn't even have an opportunity to ask for help or for some of the things, because she just made it so clear that this was not the place to ask for help. And it's like, well, then who do I ask? I need help with these things. I need help with things that I don't have a clear answer on what the accommodation is, or I don't have a clear answer on the resources that are available to me, because I am not an expert in this very complicated system with so many departments and so many different axes of, like, I don't know what I'm doing, and I don't believe that I should have to be the expert on a system that is just incomprehensible. It's just incomprehensible. It's very frustrating for your entire life to be boiled down in such a way that feels like it strips me of personhood. That the majority of people in the world who will interface with me don't see me as a full, complete human, because I'm just paperwork to them. I'm just paperwork. So it's very frustrating, and I'm getting very sick of, I don't know. I'm getting real sick of it. It's exhausting. It's really exhausting. And I don't know. everyone thinks I'm someone else's problem, right? Like, everyone I call, I'm just someone else's problem. No matter what doctor I see, it's someone else's problem. Refer to this other thing, go see this other thing, you know. And then the doctor is like, yeah, you should lower your stress. Okay, how? How, Einstein? How am I supposed to fucking lower my stress when it's like, this is what my life has to be, is just trying to get help from someone in some way by saying the right things. And I feel like, you know, I can communicate fairly well, and I'm still not able to communicate to anyone in a way that they can understand that I need help. So, I don't know. It's very frustrating. It's very frustrating. But I don't have another option, you know? In some ways, my life would be easier if I could just get a job. In a lot of ways, my life would be just easier if I could get a job. But I can't do that right now, you know? If one doctor's appointment and a few phone calls the next day is going to lay me out with a 100-degree fever, how is a job going to work? How is the stress of having to clock in every day and do a job gonna work, you know? So, but, oh, am I gonna burp? Maybe? No. Yep. So, yeah, but I have maybe possibly an apartment, maybe possibly, if the paperwork goes right, if they allow me to take my baby boy with me. I don't even know how that's gonna work. Like, I don't even know how. I'm so scared about it. I am excited, but I'm also just scared because it's like, I don't know, man. I don't know. There's a lot going on right now. There's a lot going on, and I'm scared about a lot of it, and I'm excited about a lot of it, but I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen, and that's terrifying. And this week has been just, I don't know, this week has been so crazy and constant, and I'm like, right now I'm so tired. I'm like almost falling asleep while filming. I'm so fucking tired right now. I've just been doing so much. I've got more to do. Because there's always more to do. And I want to be doing, I don't know, I want to be doing more fun stuff on the channel. I know I've made a lot of kind of very, like, recently it's been a lot of videos of like, man, living as a disabled trans queer person sucks. You know, living as a mentally ill person sucks, and that's been a lot of my videos lately. And I've been wanting to make some more fun stuff. It's just hard to get time to film and get the energy to film sometimes. Sometimes it's just like, I hate that where I'm like, God, I want to film, but also I'm so tired. It's just, like, I have to shower and set up the camera and all that shit. And it's like, oh, but I want to film, but it's like, oh, I'm so tired. I just want to sleep. So, but I want to make more videos. I want to make more fun videos. I want to actually finish my fucking shit that I've started. Started so much shit and haven't finished anything. I've never finished anything a day in my fucking life. Okay, I'm just rambling now. Did I talk about everything I wanted to? Oh, I have no idea. I had things I wanted to say, and it's like, did I say them all? I'll find out when I rewatch, and then I'll be like, oh, I was supposed to talk about this. God damn it. But, yeah. If you are a disabled person, tell me about your experience if you would like to in the comments. Also, you don't have to if you don't want to, because you never have to listen to me if you don't want to. I should not be listened to under any circumstances, actually. I never know what I'm talking about and never know what I'm doing. So, there's that. I guess I'll keep updated on how apartment stuff goes, probably as it goes. But yeah, when I have the energy to film next, I want to do something more fun. Maybe play with that stupid fucking modeling clay shit that I got, and make another abhorrent creature that should not be allowed to live. Okay, alright, fucking shut up. Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up, David. Just shut the fuck up. Go away. Nobody likes you. Nobody wants to talk to you. Go away. Go away. Get out of here. Leave a comment if you want, or don't. Like if you want, or don't. Nobody's gonna watch this, so it doesn't matter. Take care of yourselves, because the world fucking sucks, but it sucks a little bit less when you have something fun to do and people to enjoy time with, so. Take care of yourselves for me.